They said you wanted to see me, Coach?
Yeah, man. Step on up into my office. It's HomeSpun Sports with Coach John Montgomery. Sports talk with a twist of down-home wisdom. Welcome. We are mighty glad you are here this evening. You have tuned in to HomeSpun Sports. Once again, it's sports talk with just a twist of down-home wisdom. I am your host, Coach John Montgomery, and I'm in H-Town, the way up in Oklahoma City. My show enough partner in crime. What's up, Slim?
Couldn't be better if I tried, Coach. What about you?
Slim, this is show number 9, and I'm feeling just fine.
Yes, sir. Feeling just fine.
My brother, let's get this thing rolling. Slim,
Let's do it.
It's the Fall Classic, man. It's the Fall Classic, and it begins in earnest on Tuesday as our beloved Houston Astros take on the Braves of the ATL. Slim, Dusty Baker, 72-year-old Dusty Baker, who broke in, by the way, with Atlanta. He broke in with Atlanta in 1968. Slim. Dusty Baker, 72 years old, 28 years of managerial experience in the major leagues.
Yeah.
Slim, the man has managed 5 teams, got 5 teams to the championship level. Has not won a world title yet. So, Slim, I think it'd be safe to say that Dusty Baker's on deck.
He's on deck, Coach.
He's on deck.
Yeah.
He's on deck. But you know what, Slim? He has another historical on deck. It was Dusty Baker who was in the on deck circle on April the 8th, 1974, when Hank Aaron hit that historic 715 home run to break Babe Ruth's record.
Yeah, Coach. That was
Slim,
awesome.
In NBA, National Basketball Association, it's all about the numbers, Slim. It's all about the numbers. And people lie, numbers don't.
Numbers don't. Yes, sir.
So the Los Angeles Lakers are the oldest roster in the NBA. They're the oldest roster. Now, LeBron James, King James, 36. Anthony Davis is 28. Russell
Westbrook's 32.
Is 32. Okay? Yep. All right. All about the numbers. The Lakers are off to an 0-2 start. Now, already, Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis, they done got fist to fist, nose to nose, chest bumping. They done had a little tussle. They done had a little skiffle between them. Okay? It's all about the numbers. Now, we know this. LeBron James, number 1. He's number 1. Anthony Davis, number 2.
Number 2.
Slim, my question to you is, will Russell Westbrook be content in being number 3?
My whole thing with that is, Coach, first of all, they brought him there to be number 3. Now, everybody's talking about Russ just needs to be Russ. You know, he needs to be Russ. Newsflash, Russell being Russell Westbrook got KD left him when he was on Oklahoma City. The real Batman. Paul George tried it again. He left him. Now, man, you're ring chasing now, brother. You need to conform. What LA needs you to do, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 15 points, and less turnovers.
Okay. All right. Because this I can promise you. This I can't promise you this. LeBron James is 36. He ain't got time for no mess.
He don't have time, Coach.
You let Russell Westbrook out. You let Russell Westbrook go out there one night and throw up more bricks than it takes to build a mansion over in River Oaks. I promise you they're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. And you talk about it's all about the numbers. If Russell Westbrook is not content with being number 2, then Russell Westbrook, here's a new number for you. Deuces, brother. Deuces. And your ass is out of here.
Adios.
If he ain't content with being number 2.
Exactly.
Slim, man, look, man. You did week 1, week 2. Man, I am excited about what you're bringing to the table. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without any further ado, I give to you Slim's Pickens.
We're halfway through the 2021 college football season. Pretty much you can call this like the midterm, right? So I, the professor, am now going to give out my midterm grades. According to the website HBCU Sports, the top 10 going into week 7 are as following. Jackson State at 1 with a record of 6-1. Prairie View A&M, number 2 with a record of 6-1. Alcorn State at 3 with a record of 5-2. FAMU at 4 with a record of 5-2. NAIA Langston with a record of 7-0. Congratulations. Bowie State, Division II Bowie State with a record of 7-1. Division II Savannah State with a record of 6-2. Norfolk State with a record of 5-2. And Division II Fayetteville State with a record of 6-1. Also, Division II Albany State with a record of 7-1. Now, while I applaud the 4 Division II teams with their 1-loss record, there's no way that they should be able to beat a number of Division I AA teams. For example, first-year head football coach Eddie George, who currently has his Tennessee State Tigers ranked 13th with a record of 4-3. Incidentally, did you ever think you'd see the day when Grambling State wasn't ranked in the top 25 HBCU polls? That's crazy. Now, Alabama A&M and Alabama State look to stop the bleeding going into the largest HBCU event in the country, the Magic City Classic. Both teams are 3-3. Alabama comes into the Ham riding a 3-game losing streak, while Alabama State just took a loss fresh from Coach Prime's Jackson State Tigers. That's all, sports fans. Stay tuned. That's Slim's Pickens.
Bravo, my brother. You brought that on home. Yes,
appreciate
sir.
It, Coach. Appreciate it. Now, Coach.
All right. College football,
Coach.
Ain't no question. We got LSU. That job's open. We've got Southern Cal.
The Southern Cal job. That job's been open. And just like the Tonight Show, Coach, it's more to come, right? What's your take?
More to come.
More to come, Coach.
You're right, Slim. There'll be some more. Here's my thing. Both LSU and Southern Cal know they're not going to be in the CFP. So both of those programs, in my opinion, right now can keep their powder dry, wait, and watch. And Mildred, while they're watching, there's a head football coach at Pennsylvania State University. I'm talking about the Penn State Nittany Lions. There's a head coach up there by the name of James Franklin. Who, oh, by the way, when you mentioned the opening at Southern Cal, first name you heard, James Franklin. When you heard when Eddie Orgeron was let go first part of the week, first name you heard, James Franklin. Well, now, James Franklin at Penn State, Saturday before last, suffered a loss to Iowa. Yesterday, lost at home in 9 overtimes to Illinois. Are you,
Coach? You can't go 9 overtimes with Illinois, Coach.
Are you kidding me? and Slim. So that's 2 in a row. Slim.
That's 2.
And next week, he has Ohio State. Listen, James Franklin has gone from a guy who was A-list at the front of the line when you talked about the 2 big jobs, LSU and Southern Cal.
Southern Cal, yes, sir.
He's gone from that to what could be 3 straight losses. At the end of the day, James Franklin gonna be lucky to keep the job he's got. No question. Slim, you've been the pulse of black college football, and I know you just had your pickings. Come on back and chime in and give us your take on who just might be picking up their bags and walking by the end of this 2021 college football season in HBCU football.
Be happy to. First on the list, coach, is Texas Southern. They are hotter than the summertime in Houston, Texas at 3rd Ward U, coach. All right.
And it's hot.
They hot, coach. Since taking the job in 2019, Clarence McKinney has only won 2 games. All right. Now listen. Texas Southern is the 3rd largest athletic budget in the SWAC. They got money. They got money, coach. They got money. They have an excellent school of pharmacy. They have an excellent school of law, the 3rd good Marshall School of Law, by the way. They got money. I just don't think football is important enough at Texas Southern right now for them to buy out Clarence McKinney and his 2-year, $300,000 a year salary. If you ask me, I don't think it's important.
Slim, I think you're spot on correct there. I think $600 in one whop. That's a lot for an HBCU to swallow. I believe you're right about that. I think he gets a mulligan.
A mulligan year, and yeah.
Hang on, see one more. That's pretty good. You got another one?
Yes, sir. Grambling State. Like I said in my pickings, coach. Yes. Oh, yeah. Like I said in my pickings, I say it again. Grambling State is not ranked in the top 25 HBCU polls, coach. But check this out, though. That's all right, because head football coach Broderick Fobbs was born in Louisiana Monroe. And you know Louisiana Monroe runs deep at Grambling State, coach.
Monroe. Listen, let me tell you something. Monroe, you Grambling from Monroe,
Monroe, Louisiana.
You stronger than 9 yards of garlic. Let me tell you, partner, some of the all-time greats to ever wear the black and gold at Grambling, Monroe, Louisiana. James Shaq Harris, the first African-American to quarterback his team to a playoff game in the National Football League.
The Rams.
Monroe, Louisiana. The great wide receiver, perennial All-Pro, the Minnesota Vikings, Sammy White, Monroe, Louisiana. Sammy and I were assistants at Grambling on that 2011 SWAC championship team when we both worked for Doug Williams. That's a good one, Slim. You got any more?
The last one, coach. Alabama A&M. They're hotter than hell over on Normal's Hill, coach. But it ain't like they can do anything about it. Let's be honest with you, okay? Because they just gave Connell Mader that fat contract extension for winning that spring football championship. And you know what, coach? You know, it reminds me of what Pawpaw used to say.
What'd your grandpa say?
He said, you can either get pissed off or pissed on. Take your pick.
Boy, you spot. Well, let me tell you something. Your grandpa sure enough said that. Slim, that's real good, man. I appreciate that insight. No
problem, coach.
No question.
Dad, you said it from the beginning. You said it right when we started. The Arizona Cardinals are the hottest team in the NFL right now. Okay. But did you ever think going into week 7 they would be undefeated? My question to you, coach, what's that magic that's working in Arizona right now? Is it the desert? What's going on?
Here's what I think it is, Slim. I believe it's a good fit. It's a good fit. Cliff Kingsbury is a good fit. I've never doubted Cliff Kingsbury's ability to orchestrate an offense. That's never been in question. Cliff Kingsbury was scoring points in bunches when he was out there at Texas Tech, getting his brains beat out. They couldn't stop nobody, but Cliff Kingsbury was putting up big points at Texas Tech. In fact, you have a little history with Cliff Kingsbury coming out of Oklahoma City Douglas High School.
Sure do.
You had committed to Texas Tech when Cliff Kingsbury was still the head coach. In that recruiting class was a little hotshot quarterback from a little town in East Texas, White House, Texas. What was
White House.
What was that kid's name? What was that kid's
name? Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, coach.
That's the guy, Patrick Mahomes, right? Yeah. So, Cliff Kingsbury, his ability, never doubted his ability to orchestrate offense. But I'll tell you the big thing that impressed me about Cliff Kingsbury.
He knows talent.
When he did not have a job, in an interview one time, they asked him, said, if you were head coach of a team in the NFL, who would you take with the first pick in the draft? And without question or pause, he said, Kyler Murray. Give me Kyler Murray. He then gets a job and he walked his talk. He
won the lottery.
He took Kyler Murray, and now Kyler Murray's got weapons. Slim, let me tell you, like we said about the Lakers, again in football, it's still all about the numbers. Arizona has 2 1 receivers.
Okay.
DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green.
Yes.
At the 2 spot, I'm talking about the slot.
The slot. Yeah.
They've got Christian Kirk, and they got that boy Rondale Moore that they took in the draft from Purdue in the 3rd pick. They've got a good, solid running game with that boy Chase Edmonds. And a good young offensive line.
And they playing defense, coach.
Listen. Let me tell you something. Cliff Kingsbury showed a lot of maturity when he took Zaven Collins out there. Hominy, Oklahoma, and the University of Tulsa's own Zaven Collins. And I'm going to tell you something, Mildred. If the Cardinals can continue to play good defense and run that football, Arizona Cardinals are going to be in this race right down to the wire. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Agreed. Pops, CFP is coming into focus. Okay, we got 6 weeks left in the season. First poll is going to come out. First CFP is going to come out in November 2nd. I know we're entering into the last week in October. My question to you is, how do you think this CFP race is going to shape out? Who you got? What's up with the Final Four, Coach?
I still believe Alabama is the best team in Division I college football. I believe that. Here's my thing. Alabama's back's to the wall, and well, they know it. There is no margin of error. They have to run the table and win the SEC West and meet up with Georgia, who I think will go unscathed through that SEC East.
Yes.
They meet head-to-head in Atlanta. I think Alabama still wins that matchup, and here's why. We know, yes, Georgia's very good on defense. What we don't know is how good Georgia is on – how we know how good Georgia is on defense. We don't know how good they are on offense. We don't know that yet. In their last 3 games, I'm talking about Arkansas, Auburn, and Kentucky, Georgia has averaged 33 points a game.
Okay.
Again, it's all about the numbers. In Alabama's last 3 games, Alabama, I'm talking about Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Arkansas. They average 40.
Mississippi State, Coach.
I'm sorry, Mississippi State. In Alabama's last 3 games, they've averaged 46 points a game. I look for Nick Saban to tell offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien, we've got a talented quarterback, Bryce Young. We're going to open this thing up, and let's see if Georgia can score 38, 42, 47, if need be, 50 points a game. Slim.
Okay.
There's an old school R&B band that I turned you on to when you were just a kid called Confunction. And Confunction had a hit record called Chase Me.
You can chase me, honey, all right.
Well, there you go. Chase Me. That's exactly what Nick Saban is going to tell Kirby Smart. All right, Kirby, chase me. Chase me. Let's see, can he do it? University of Cincinnati had a tough one, but they hung on and won against Navy.
Yes, hard to defend against that triple option, coach.
Hard to defend that triple option. They survived it. Now it's business as usual. They navigate that American Conference, go through that, and I know they will. The big key is, I said it before, I say it again, Big 12 football soft as drugstore cotton. At, Slim, how many minutes and a half in a college 30. Football game? Huh?
30,
say it
coach.
Again. Huh?
30, coach. 30. 30.
You dadgum Skippy is 30. Well, halftime of the Oklahoma number, the University of Oklahoma and 1-6 Kansas. 1-6 Kansas, a hoop school. 1-6 Kansas. Kansas had 22 minutes of time of possession, and Kansas was ahead 10-0 at the half. And I'm telling you, that's going to come back to bite Oklahoma in the fanny when the CFP makes that final poll. It's soft as drugstore cotton. That in the Big Ten, you have 4 teams. 2 of them meet head-to-head this Saturday when Michigan State plays Michigan. Ohio State, I think, is still the best of the 4 teams. I'm talking Ohio State, Michigan State, Michigan, and Iowa. You ask my opinion on the CFP, here's my take. Either Alabama, Georgia, or Georgia, Alabama. Cincinnati hangs on, and they get in, and that 4th spot will come from whatever 1 loss or perfect record team comes out of the Big Ten. And that's how I see the CFP, my brother.
All right, Coach.
That's how I see it. Yes,
that's interesting, but I'm going to let it ride, all right? Okay. I'll talk to you later, all right? Hey, Coach, tell Mom I love her, okay?
My brother, I'll do just that. Give my love to everyone in Oklahoma City.
Will do, Coach. See you later.
All right, man. Excuse me for being old school, but I can still hear Coach Jackie Sherrill say, players win them, coaches lose them. And to that end, I don't think I've ever remembered a time until now when a head coach was the distraction that led to his team's demise. Ed Orgeron's cussing and fussing and disorganization got him fired at LSU. John Gruden apparently thought he was Chucky, a monster who was beyond impunity. And then there's Urban Meyer, who would rather spend more time on the dance floor than in the film room. The great Paul Bear Bryant, when asked about his slow, deliberate Southern drawl, his response, "It makes my hollering more effective." Philippians 2:7, the master coach made no reputation of himself, but took on the form of a servant. Coaches, your players will follow you if you're smart enough to put them out in front. And hey, that's how I see it. 6 o'clock, straight up and down.
That's how we see it, and that's how it is. Can't wait. Do it up. Wait.
Slim. Before we get out of here, man,
almost forgot.
Big shout out to my show enough ride or die, Mike Summers, my show enough friend, who was inducted in the South Carolina State University Hall of Fame, along with such great players like Deacon Jones, Donnie Shell, Harry Carsons, and now my beloved friend, Mike Summers. Congratulations, Mike. Man, I love you, bro.
Can't wait to do it again, Coach. Look, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of HomeSpun Sports, sports talk with a twist of down-home wisdom. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, stay tuned and updated. All of our premium content is all for you. It's all live and it's all real. We love you. And again, congratulations, Mr. Summers. Hey, Pops.
Yeah,
Go ahead and get up out of here, man.
You said it again, my dog.